Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz.
Hello, good morning and a very warm welcome to Newsline. Usually we are live and from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. This morning it's a recording. We've recorded somebody whose tight schedule meant that he was unable to get onto our live slot. But he's right here with us, very happy to be with us. And on our part, we're very happy to welcome to the Newsline set Ambassador Asfaw Dingamo, the ambassador for Sri Lanka representing Ethiopia. Ambassador also represents several other countries too, but let's find out. Hello there, Ambassador, and welcome to Newsline. And Ambassador, you represent some other countries apart from Sri Lanka as well. They are India, Thailand, Myanmar, Nepal, and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. And you're based in India.
Yes.
Is that pretty central for all your travels?
Yes, since I was assigned in this part of the world,
yeah.
It is a very important area and important venue. Our embassy has been in India for last 71 years.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, since 1948, that embassy is already established in India.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we have expanded our presence in the different part of this South East Asian countries. With Sri Lanka, we had in 1972 established the diplomatic relation. In Nepal, it was back in 1968. In Thailand, it is in 1964. And I think recent was with Myanmar in 2015, and Bangladesh much before that. You know, after 1971 of their independence, we have established our diplomatic relation with Bangladesh.
Now then, Ambassador, when we talk of Ethiopia, or when we used to speak of Ethiopia, the world had a perception that it was famine capital of the world. Somehow, we don't seem to view Ethiopia as the famine capital of the world. What happened? Did all those international stars who came there and sing and perform in aid of eradicating famine, was that successful? What else did your government do? How come this thing isn't there anymore?
Not necessarily this time Ethiopia is a famine capital of the world.
Yeah.
Basically, if we see the country Ethiopia, it is one of the ancient country in that part of the world. We have been in civilization for many years. When you are talking about the civilization in that part of the world and in the ancient world, about pharaohs in Egypt, you talk about the Ethiopian civilization, the Kushite civilization in southern part of the Egyptian civilization. So Ethiopia is, once it was regarded a highly civilized and wealthy nation, and a few years decline has happened. That decline has happened due to subsequent civil war and drought and this environmental degradation in that part of the world. So bad governance in the subsequent governments has been also a big factor. And right, you know, in the 60s and the 70s, as you have mentioned, even in the 80s, Ethiopia was regarded as one of the poorest countries in the world. When we talk about hunger and famine, Ethiopia was the face of that. And after 1991, we toppled one of the brutal and fascist government, which is a dictator. And the new democratic rule of governance came to the place in 1991. And the change of that government and the change of face started right from the topplement of that brutal government. So rule of law was put in place, a democratic role was put in place. We have put in place our 1994 constitution, where multi-party system is already declared.
Right.
And many parties came with different views and policies. And finally, the ruling party, which is also part of the struggle for 17 years with the former government. And the the lessons we have learned from the past has helped us to bring this democratic change in the country. And after 2002, we have put in place a very resounding policies of development in the country. And for last 15, 17 years, those policies have yielded. And double-digit economic growth has been taken the stride. And our economy was pulled out from recession, from backwardness.
From this sort of abyss of despair.
Yes. Because the country has a big potential of development, because we have many resources.
And the government in Ethiopia has been in place since 1991.
This government is since 1991.
So you had, in this period of 1991 till now, so around 27 years, how many leaders have you had of that party?
The leader of the party who have been ruling for, for 21 years.
Yes.
Has passed away in 2012.
Right.
And after that, we have another prime minister who was head of the government as well. And he resigned last year.
Okay.
And since then, we have the new...
But for the same party?
Yeah, the same party, yes.
Right.
Because still that party is in the power.
That means...
we have held 5 subsequent elections
in these 27 years.
Yeah, 27 years, and according to our parliamentary system, we have won the election. And
so what you're saying is that it appears to me that in Ethiopia, democracy, as we know it, is alive and well.
Yes, because there is no any other option for the country of more than 80 ethnic group, nations and nationalities in the country, having this rule of law on a democratic basis is very important. And democracy is a life and death issue for us.
Right.
And because of this, we have put many democratic practices in place. And one of those practices are establishment of multi-party system.
Right.
And many regional and ethnic-based parties have flourished in the country, apart the national parties.
And do you think that you've, after 27 years, you must have put to bed the old, the derg, the problems you all had after the end of the emperor's rule?
Yes, when you characterize the time of emperor, that is absolute monarchy.
Yes.
And when it comes after his downfall, the Derg regime, which is fascist and dictatorial military rule, it is also.
Do you think that
it is also a communist system?
Yes. Is that what dragged it down?
Yes, it was dragged down. We completely dismantled the system itself, and the mentality has to be changed. And since then, this government has put in place many democratic practices as well, and the rule of law and democratic practices already established in different parts of the country. And also we have a regional and federal government system was established.
And Ambassador, I know you've got a population of about 130 million.
Close to 110.
110 million,
yeah.
Which is an awful lot of people.
Yes, it is the second most populous country in Africa.
Right.
Generally, it is a young population.
Right.
Of course, it has opportunities as well, threats also. Challenges are there.
And you have around 30 million young people, students.
Students, yes, who have enrolled in different capacity from primary education to university level.
So where's all the jobs going to be?
That is a big challenge to the government. We have, because of that, we have put in place a very attractive investment policy as well, a development initiative in the country. And creation of job is #1 priority of this government as well. If you are not able to create a job for everybody at this stage, it will be a big problem. As you know, mostly in Africa, you can see the youngest population is in rise, where in a developed country it is in decline. So this is a big challenge for us, and to curb this problem, we have many development initiatives in the country, and the job creation schemes have been already placed. As you know, we have 45 universities at this stage. When we started this government, there are only 2 state universities in the country. Now we have 45 public universities, government universities.
That's wonderful news.
Yes. That is a very big. The government of Ethiopia has put in place a very intensive social-based projects which can help also for economic development of the country. One of the areas we are heavily putting a lot of money is education. From the biggest amount of our close to 5% of our GDP is going to health and to education. So you can see how important these sectors are to.
And Ambassador, how is the housing? Do you have a problem with housing?
Yes, we have a big problem in the housing because.
What's the problem? Is it a question of money, not enough of resources?
It's not only the problem of resources. As you know, for many years, those subsequent governments didn't put in place a very clear housing policy in the country. And everything pop out at a time, and it is not possible for the government to bring all these
things together.
The capacity issue is there, the financial issue is there. Even if you get the finances, the construction capacity in the country is very low, and to cope up with that, you have to produce many engineers who can work on, and also many middle level education centers should be also capacitated to develop this. And all those came together at once, and it is a big problem. But now the government has put in place a very clear line, even the lease policy at urban level. The real estate developers have come out from different part of the society, and also the associations which have to develop their own houses also put in place. Of course, the mortgage system is very incipient in the country, and the government housing programs were already developed in different part of regional states, and that is trying to bring it down. But in our capital, we have quite a big amount of people who are in need of, sometimes the costs of developing those houses is very big, and the affordability issue is also there. The time of construction is another factor, as I told you, that is related to capacity issue.
On that note, we'll take a short break. Don't go away. After all, this is Newsline, and we are in conversation with Ambassador Asfaw Dingamo from Ethiopia.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukutali.
And welcome back to Newsline, where we are in conversation with the ambassador from Ethiopia to Sri Lanka. Ambassador, it's a fascinating tale how Ethiopia has managed to move away from this notion of famine capital of the world to overthrowing and getting rid of undemocratic elements. You've had democracy there for the last say 27 years, 5 elections. You've had, was it 3 different prime ministers now? One who's died, one who's resigned, and so on. So how do you maintain your non-aligned policy?
In our foreign and national security policy, we have already put in place a very important element, which is non-aligned element.
Yes.
Because in this policy, maintaining our national interest, we have to see inside what problems are within inside, and to look after inside to outward world. So by doing that, without getting any simply the common understanding with our neighbors, and the neighborhood policy we had is very fascinating, and we worked together with our neighbors in bringing the harmony and economic integration with that part of the world. Apart that, to have a good relation with all peace-loving community of the world, and work together in harmony. And that is what we have already achieved for subsequent number of years. Of course, our development policy was carefully crafted, because first we have to see what were our weaknesses for years, and how to overcome those weaknesses. And by knowing our opportunities of development in the country, of course, we have identified in our policies that we have 2 major wealths at hand in our country. One is land wealth we had, and the other part is the population wealth we had. And if we integrate this in
diffuse it together.
Yeah, diffusing to get a very sound development initiative, then we fortunately we can develop our economy. So that was what we had in the past 27 years. We have put in place a very nice policies which can integrate these 2 thoughts and develop out of those two capitals a major capital to develop all other economies.
And what about education?
Education is very important for to come out from poverty.
Yeah.
And the government has put a very strong education policy, especially the education sector development program was crafted, and that was put in place. And now we are allocating more than 5% of our GDP.
Right.
To develop our education system. And this is giving us a yield. As you know, to come out of poverty, you have to have very educated population in the country. And the illiteracy issue was a big concern in the country. And we have to literate them, and that is what is doing so. So our primary education enrollment has been increased. Many primary education centers have been opened. Then secondary school, the high schools, and as well as the universities. When we started this revolution, and when the new government came to the power, only 2 universities have been in the country. For 27 years, we have developed more than 45 universities at this stage, and many colleges come out, many training centers for vocational education has already developed, and the private sector is also given a chance to develop institutions,
right.
and many development initiatives for this sector give a yield at this stage.
And as citizen Dingamo, citizen of Ethiopia, how happy are you with the progress that your country has made towards addressing poverty? It's already addressed famine, and democracy.
I remember when I was a young student in Cuba in 1984, that was a famous drought and famine was in Ethiopia. Those singers.
That's right.
We are the world.
We are the world.
Singers. We are singing, and I was in Cuba, and that was a big shame and humiliating issue.
Was it?
It was, absolutely. And you can see how people will value you. And that was a big national shame. And
but did you not appreciate the efforts of these international stars like Bob
Well, they brought your issue to international community and appealed, and of course they tried to save the lives of those people. But it is for short time. It is not for long.
Yes, that was
longer time. It is of course people were dying because they couldn't eat day-to-day meal.
Right.
So that was a big relief for a time being, but it's not sustainable. So to have a sustainable solution, you have land, you have resources like big water in the country. We have rainfall. Sometimes it is erratic even though, but development policies were not in place.
Right.
First, you have to feel the national shame. Then, after 27 years and some, after I came from my education background, then I was already taking part in development programs in the country. I am educated. I have my master's degree during that time, and you can see I was involving myself in this process. The rule of law and the democratic approach was put in place. We tried to bring our population together to have these development initiatives the government has identified. And after 27 years now, you can't talk about famine. Of course, food insecurity issue here and there, you can see it is a very small amount. You know, during that time, it is 30 or 40 million people. Now we have more than doubled. And we are feeding our people this time. So you will be, there are some problems here and there, but there is a big hope in this country and population among our people that development is possible. And we made it and still going through it till we eradicate. Because you know, now the absolute poverty level came down, right, to close to 20%, and you can see still our development initiatives are yielding, and the government financing all development initiatives in the country.
So, Ambassador and citizen Dingamo is happy and confident that his country is trekking along in the right path.
Yes, you are right, because you know our party, the ruling party, has put in place a very nice policies, and as far as you are implementing it in the right track, we have big hope that the price will be paid back.
Wonderful. Ambassador Asfaw Dingamo, thank you very much for being on Newsline, and on behalf of the team News First and the Capital Maharaja Group, I wish you a very warm stay in Sri Lanka, a happy one, and do look over us from time to time where you're based in Mumbai, and it will be always a pleasure to welcome you on our network.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about my country, and there is a big potential in our country. Our economy is growing, our policies are yielding, and investment and trade policies are very resounding, and I think your investors and the businessmen are looking and going there, and this is a very good initiative, and I do hope in the future our two countries will come together and be benefited from the fruits of our development initiative in both countries. And I thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Ambassador. Great pleasure. Thank you very much. And that's the way it was on Newsline. Take care. Have a great day, and God bless.
News First, Newsline with Faraz.